Hi everyone, it's Sandra from Sandra Bianco Photography, and today I want to go ahead and do the sunflower edit using the new Painterly 2 collection from Greater Than Gatsby. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and what I went ahead and did with this one is I already played the beginning brushes and I just clicked play them all. So this is before I did any of the retouching, and then this is after I did the retouching and played them all. And then you can see what I did here. So I ran the Painterly Perfect Smoother, and I ran Painterly Tone 7, and I just applied that to her cheeks. Painterly Tone 2, which I applied to all of her skin. You can see how that's making her skin look really nice and clean. And then I went down to the Skin Shines and I ran Milky Skin Shine and painted that on the skin as well. And you can see that's giving her a nice milky glow. Then I went ahead and used the Painterly Eye Pop. So I'm clicking on and off so you can see that. And that's just making her eyes pop a little bit more. And I went ahead and put Painterly hair texture on at about 47%. You can see my opacity here. And so that is what I did for the retouch portion of this image. Now we put these in here because the retouch, it's a little bit different than the retouches that we have in other collections. And this is specific to the Painterly collection. So just wanted to kind of emphasize on that. So we're going to go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and flatten this now. And I'm going to go ahead and start editing this image. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I am just going to click on my underexposed foundation. And I'm going to go ahead and just take my opacity down. I just want to add a little bit more brightness and contrast, but not too much, because I want to go ahead and do that with the rest of my editing. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave that at about 24%. And then we are going to come down to our artistic ships. And so I want to make these sunflowers just a little bit more on the orange side. So what I'm going to do is click on Green to Marigold. And I'm just going to go ahead and take my opacity way down. And you can see that's just making them a little bit more of an orangey tone. And then I am going to go ahead and go down to my artistic tones. And the first thing I'm going to do is run Night Watch, because that's a little bit of a cooler green tone. And then I am just going to go ahead and move my opacity down a bit to my liking. And I'm also going to go ahead and mask this off of the darkness of the image here in the shadows. I'm going to go ahead and bring my brush up to 100%. Then I am actually going to leave that on her skin because I like how it's running. And I may take that down just a little bit more. Okay, and then we are going to go down into our Painterly textures. And when you get to this section, as I've emphasized on other images, you're going to have 3 different sections. There's going to be no paint, light paint, and heavy paint. So you're going to have, and make sure you play the Play Me instructions, because it'll tell you what to do for each section as far as masking off the skin, the subject, and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and run Da Vinci. And see how that just brings it all nicely together. And then I'm going to go ahead and click into my layer mask. And I'm going to go ahead and mask this off of my subject. And I'm also going to mask this off of the center sunflower here, because I want to keep the detail of the seeds of that sunflower in there. And I may mask a little bit off of just her hairline a little bit. And maybe off of these few leaves so that I could just keep the detail on those. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and scroll down into my finishing brushes. And one of the first things I'm going to do is go to my tack sharp details. And I'm going to go ahead and run this on my subject, just on her face mostly. And then I'll go ahead and take that down a little bit. And then I'm going to go down into my blur distraction brush. And this, I'm just going to go ahead and I want to hit the corners a little bit and get rid of some of this, almost so it looks like I did a little bit of shoot through, but I want to get rid of some of those little distractions there. So you can see, and sometimes I'll just go ahead and place this a little bit in the corners. It just kind of brings it together a little bit more, and I may just put a little bit right in here. Okay. And then I'm also going to go into my bottom haze brush, and I'm going to go ahead and select one of the darker colors. And then I'm just going to go ahead and start painting this on the bottom portion of my image a bit. And then I'm going to go to my light leak brush. And for this, I'm going to go ahead and pull one of these lighter green colors within the image. I'm going to hit OK, continue, and then I'm just going to go ahead and get my brush very big. And I like to kind of zoom out of my image while I'm doing this. And I just want to add a little bit of light leak into this corner here. And I just like to do it a little bit so it looks natural. So that's why you're going to keep most of your brush off of the actual image and just let the edge of your brush hit that. And then I'm going to go ahead and switch to a black brush, and I'm just going to mask it off. So I think I got a little bit on her hair. So I don't want her hair to turn that minty green. So I'm just going to go ahead and mask that off. So you can see there, and that's just going to give us a little bit of added dimension, and I can reduce my opacity, I can increase my opacity on that. So I like it right about there. And then we are going to go down to our finishing touches, and I'm going to click on contrast the clarity. And for this, I'm going to invert it. And I'm going to just paint this on the seeds of the sunflower. See how all those pretty details of that sunflower, the seeds in that sunflower are coming out. And I can also go ahead and paint this a little bit on the leaves. I really like this one because you can see the pollen on the leaf. So I want to bring out those details on that. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is go to hide the highlights. And I'm just going to go ahead and take that down a bit. You can see that's just brightening up my subject, a little bit more light on the scene itself. And then I am going to go to, let's see, soften the shot. And I'm going to go ahead and reduce my opacity on this. And I'm going to go ahead and mask this off of my subject's hair. And maybe down a little bit on her shirt. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and flatten this. And then I'm going to go down into my finishing vignettes. And I'm going to go ahead and use the Pick a Color vignette. And I'm going to, again, select one of my darker greens. And hit OK. And then you'll see how that runs on the image. I'm going to go ahead and take that down a bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and mask this off of my subject. Okay, so I'm going to go flatten that. And then we are going to go down into, I'm really liking her skin color right now and the tone. So I feel like I really just need to do a little bit of dodging and burning. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Painterly Dodge. And it'll tell you to, just what you should keep your exposure around. So I'm at 3 to 5% on my midtones. And I'm just going to go ahead and start dodging where there is already some highlight. And I'm going to add a little bit more highlight up in here on her forehead. And I like to hit the brow bone. And I am going to have a separate video just on dodging and burning. So I'm going to do this kind of quickly, because this is a time-consuming portion of a Painterly edit. But you get the gist of what I'm trying to do here. And then I also use this to like add some highlight to her hair, bring out the highlights of her hair, I should say. And then I would dodge these seeds a bit and some on the sunflowers. And then we're going to go into Painterly. Oh, let me just click on and off of that so you can see what that did. I actually might go a little bit into her eyes here and underneath. And then right here on her Cupid's bow. And you can even add like lip shine with this. Okay. I'm probably going a little bit too heavy, but that's okay. I want to show you exactly what this portion does. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the burn tool. And then I'm going to just start. So I'm at 4%. And this time I'm going to start right in between here, our Cupid's bow. Oh, I clicked on dodge brush again. Let's take that off. Sorry about that. Flatten that, and we're going to run the burn. Like, what was happening there? Okay, let's try that again. So go right into the center. I'm going to go underneath her lip. That'll create a little bit more of a pout. And then I'd like to extend her lip line a little bit. And I usually take this a little bit, right, make a shadow underneath the nose. And just carve out her nose a bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a bit onto her forehead here. And then go around her face, kind of her hairline and underneath her chin. And then any creases you see. And I usually go and, make my brush smaller or larger. But I really love the shape of her chin. So I want to just accentuate that a bit more. That line was a little bit too much. I'm just going to go ahead and back up. And I'm going to go ahead and get my brush a little bit bigger. And just make a little bit more of a shadow around her arms. And again, I would totally take my time with this portion, but I don't want to make this video too long, but you get the gist of what I'm doing with the burn tool. And you can even burn in some of the seeds there. And then if you think that that's too much, you just can reduce your opacity a little bit here. I like it nice and chiseled out like that. And I also use the burn tool to go like over her lash line. I would go into the crease of her eye here with this as well. And then just make my brush smaller, go into the lash line, even go around the circle of her eye there. You can go even in between the lips. That creates a little bit more of a pout. I usually do it a little bit stronger inside in between. And I can also add some cheekbones to her by using this. So again, I'm going to do this a little bit in a complete video just on dodging and burning, but I'm just kind of creating more of a shadow here to make her look like she has a little bit more of a cheekbone. So let's go ahead and flatten this, and I'm going to show you the before and after. So this is where we started, and this is where we ended. So before and after. I hope you all enjoyed that. Please visit greaterthangatsby.com. This is the Painterly 2 collection, and be on the lookout for more videos coming soon. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.